This is how I use the volume profile in order to trade the London session day in, day out. Now, this is a pretty simple strategy, but it just requires a little bit of discipline because let's just get straight into the video. Step one, you need to wait for the initial move. Now, most people when they're trading the London session, as soon as anything happens, they want to trade straight away. They want to try and predict what goes on. The whole part of this strategy is we're not predicting what goes on. We're waiting for something to happen, and then we're going to catch it based off the volume from that move. So step one, wait for the initial move. Now this initial move is the manipulation. So this move up here, this is when everyone who's predicting basically a move to be bullish, they're going to win the trade. Everyone who's predicting it to be bearish, they're going to lose the trade. People might have too tight of a stop loss and then get stopped out here. Essentially, you just want to wait for this to happen, all right? And then as you can see, after the manipulation, we have to decide if the buyers or the sellers are in control. So first of all, wait for this move. Now this move here is going to happen from probably about 7 to 9. I'd say is the best time for it to happen. It doesn't have to be at that time, but most likely 7 to 8, 7 to 9, that type of movement. The more you look at the London session, the more you'll be able to actually realise what's going on. But that's step one. Step two, after we've got this move, is you want to use your fixed range volume profile. So come over to here where the buy and sell button is, and you can see down here the fixed range volume profile. Now what you want to do, you want to draw it on the start of your Asia session to the end of your manipulation. Okay, so very, very simple. You want to encapsulate the whole Asia session and then also your manipulation move. And it's going to tell you where the volume is. Now, what we're essentially looking for is if the sellers are in control, then we're looking for reversals. If the buyers are in control, then we're looking for continuations. Now, how do you see if the sellers or buyers are in control? Well, very, very simple. We basically want to see this initial move happen. Then is the max volume up here? Sorry, down here. Which means that the buyers have controlled this move here. The buyers are in control and that is the main move. Or we may get it where this max volume line here, where the max volume is up here, for example. And that will tell us that this move was just a manipulation in order to then sell off again. Because it will tell us that most people are actually interested in getting in here. But in this scenario, you can see the buyers are in control, right? Because the max volume is here, right before this main move happens. So this is an example where what we're essentially looking for is continuations. So next thing you want to do is you want to look for a POI within the volume area. So the point of interest we're going to be looking at are order blocks and fair value gaps. Everyone really should know what they are. If not, just do your own research or just comment order block or fair value gap in the chat and I can do a video on them. If you want to see exactly how you actually draw on this fixed range volume profile, how it works, you can go on my it's called how I use volume to improve on it's the most viewed video on my channel. So just go to my videos, go on popular, and it's the top one there and it'll break down how exactly I use it. But let's get into looking for the actual POI. So order blocks or fair value gaps. From my experience, there's not really any difference as to what one appears more and to what one is better. But it's just one of the two, and it's the two simplest, right? So here, for example, you'd see we have a order block right here, right in line with the volume, right? And what this tells us is this is a very, very high probability order block. A lot of the time on my lives, people ask me, how do I depict a high quality order block from a low quality order block? Because obviously you're going to get loads that just don't tap in. So for example here, when you're looking for continuations, a lot of people, as I said, they don't know which ones to mark out. So they might mark out the fair value gap here, right? And they're waiting for price to come into their fair value gap to then go higher. But rather than doing that, it just continues lower. And the reason being is because there's no volume in these points. There's no evidence or proof that people are willing to step back into the market at these points. Whereas this order block here, we know that there's the max amount of volume along that point. So it's very likely that if price returns to this area, it's going to give another move, which is the exact thinking that we're looking at, right? So we're going to mark out the order block, which is here, and then we're essentially just going to wait for price to continue down to it. So obviously, when price returns to the area, you go down to the 1 minute time frame. So I mean, if you don't care about losing, and if you don't care about life or death, then you can just enter straight away. But I'd definitely recommend to wait, go down, and do not skip this step. If you skip this step, your win rate is just going to go way down, but you are going to have way more trades. So how traders typically work is the more beginner they are, the more trades they have. But the more they learn about the markets, the more they refine it, the less trades they have and the more win rates they have. And this is one of the things that's going to cause that to happen, is you're going to have less trades, but more of them are actually going to be winners. So what we do is we wait for price to come into our order block, and at this point we know there's likely to be a reaction from this area, as we said in the previous step. Okay, and we're going to go onto the 1 minute time frame after we tap into the order block, so we can actually wait and see for evidence that price is actually going to go in our direction. Because again, we don't want to predict. The London session is probably, in my opinion, the best session to trade if you're able to trade it. Obviously, a lot of Americans can't because it's too early in the morning. But it does require a lot of discipline. You can't just be pissing about during the London session and just scalping like you would in the New York session, because you're going to get cooked, right? So wait for price to come into your area, and then just mark out your highs, mark out your lows, and then wait for a market structure shift as a confirmation. So we've got a low here and we've got a high here. So we're waiting for price to break out to the upside in order to confirm a market structure shift. Reason why that's significant is currently you can see we're breaking lows, breaking lows, breaking lows. So currently we can see price is still in this downtrend, but now it's reached our area. We want to see, is the volume going to kick in, and are we going to actually start to break these highs? Are we going to actually start to break these highs? And you can see here at this point we did end up breaking the highs. So that's exactly what we want. We're basically starting to see that yes, this area that we predicted to have a lot of volume in it, it does have a lot of volume clearly, as it is pretty much brought an end to this bearish lower lows, lower highs, and we're actually ready to start reversing and continuing over with the trend. So all you do after that, it's as simple as that. We've waited for everything we need to see, and we've also got the added confluence, as I said, of having volume on our side. We know that we're on the right side of the market. There's likely to be a move there, so you may get unlucky and it just get absolutely cooked to the downside, which is why we wait for this here, just to massively increase or decrease the chances of that happening. So you enter after the market structure shift. When it's on the 1 minute, you can easily just enter straight away after the shift, so after the break straight away, because you're still going to have a pretty tight stop loss. And I'd aim for a 1 to 4. Now what I'd normally do is I would normally aim for this high here, but on this trade, for example, it would have been like a 10 to 1, and those type of trades just become very unlikely just based off averages, right? It's unlikely that you're going to win many 10 to 1. So if I'm telling you as an actual strategy, then aim for the high. But if there's no high, then aim for roughly, put your TP roughly on a 4 RR level. So you can see here, it's pretty much on this most recent, like 5 minute high. So you want to put your TP there. Your entry can, actually I'll go over the entry a little bit more. And then your stop loss just on the low, right? So the stop loss very simple on the low. TP relatively simple as well, just on the most recent high that gives 4 RR, or if the whole range, if you can target the range high and it's like 4, 5, even 6 RR, then do that. And the entry, so you can enter off of the fair value gap if you want. You can wait for price to come back into your fair value gap. It's going to give you slightly better RR. Or you can enter straight off of the change of character. This is more personal preference, and execution is really personal preference because a lot of it comes down to psychology. And as you can see, price then ran away and then went all the way to our TP. And you can see here very, very perfectly that we had our max volume level. After price had the initial manipulation move, it then returned back down to this point of max volume and moved perfectly again off of that point. And the key for this entire entry was that max volume. We knew the max volume was there. We knew it was going to provide some type of movement. So the fact that price tapped into it perfectly, and then we had our market structure shift. It's just great confirmation that we're going to then move in our direction. And a lot of people trade London session strategies similar to this, but you're probably not profitable and you're wondering, how can I become profitable? It seems like everyone can trade the London session and not be profitable. How comes when I do it, it doesn't work? Well, this is probably going to massively, massively help, because you just get another huge, huge confluence, right? As I said, a lot of people would be looking at this market and they don't know, they might have got cooked entering off this order block here. They might have entered off this fair value gap and got cooked. Even this order block here and got cooked. Even might have entered off this order block here and got cooked. The key to everything to do with this strategy is the volume, and the fact that we waited for price to come back down into that area of volume, and then we got the reaction off. So this was an actual trade that I took on live. Made me about $7,000 on my ACG funded account. And I trade this day in, day out. So this is really a strategy you can repeat day after day after day after day. If you guys are interested in the London session in general and also the volume profile, because my last volume profile video did really well. A lot of people are trading, as I said, trading these concepts. You're trading all the blocks, you're trading similar things, but no one really takes into account this volume. So if you want to know more little tricks about how you can use this volume profile, then put a comment volume in the in the comments, and I'll make some more videos breaking down how you can use it to improve your strategies. Appreciate you, man, watching. I'll put some screenshots on screen. Kind of repeating myself there, but I'll put my screenshot of the trade I actually won on screen, just so you know this isn't just a hindsight trade where I've just gone back in the markets and looked through and got, oh, that looked good, let me draw it on. As I said, I was on live and we did catch this trade and made a fair bit of money on it, so I'll put the screenshot on screen right now. And I appreciate you, man, watching. Make sure to like the video, boys, like and comment, subscribe to the channel. I'm live every day as well if you want to come see me do this shit live, and appreciate you tuning in, people, and I'll catch you in the next one, man. Sweet.